Hi, and welcome to our program, Regard de Dirigeant. Today we will be discussing with Jussi Saloranta. So actually launched a consortium of company called Corsair. And this company is active in plastic waste management, right?
That's correct. Well, first of all, thank you very much
You're most welcome.
for inviting me and having me as your guest. It's truly an honor to be here today. And our company, as you said, originally founded in 2020, right in the middle of the global pandemic, is working to solve the global plastic waste crisis.
All right, and it's actually a very interesting field because plastic waste management is an emerging field. So it is developing and we have actors which emerge but sometimes fail to survive. But it is a field that definitely needs to be developed. So we have initiatives like yours. So maybe you could tell us a bit more about your activities.
Excellent, thank you. So what we have been doing on a day-to-day basis since 2020 is to collect plastic garbage from the environment. All of our everyday plastic waste that we all generate, like plastic bags, wrapping materials, packaging products. What we do is we collect these from the landfills, we collect these from the oceans and from different parts in the cities. And then by using a process and technology called pyrolysis, we are able to convert this plastic waste back into its original form, which is oil. So something that might come as a surprise for many is that all the plastic products that we use on our daily lives originate from the crude oil. And we are able to convert the plastic back into oil, which can then be used by the petrochemical industry to produce new, more environmentally friendlier and circular plastic products. So in this way, in summarize, a plastic bag collected from the environment can now be turned into oil, and then this oil can be used to make a new plastic bag.
And what are the market perspective for this bio-oil that you are producing? And in case they are tremendous, will you be able to cover the needs of the market?
So the market is massive. Obviously, with all the new regulations coming up, we see the plastic manufacturing industry actually for the first time ever being forced to take responsibility of the plastic waste. There has been a number of new regulations that have been already implied. One of those now requires, starting from next year, that the plastic manufacturing companies are obligated to use, for example, at least 30% recycled raw material as a part of the manufacturing of the new plastics. Additionally, we are seeing a EPR, extended producer responsibility programs being implemented throughout the world, where companies that do generate this plastic waste are also obligated now to take responsibility from the collection and recycling of it. We as a company are there to provide this service. We are very hands-on. Our job is to go out there and collect this plastic waste and then to turn it into a valuable product, in this case the pyrolysis oil, which can then be used to make new, more environmentally friendlier plastics.
And about this bio-oil, so one realistic scenario would eventually be one where we keep on consuming and producing the same amount of plastic waste, of plastic then. So if this scenario holds, what we need to look at is the process of producing plastics and eventually your process of producing bio-oil. So what about this process? Is it good for the industry, and or does it for the moment suffer from the same issues, for example, than hydrogen? Because we have the green hydrogen, which is good for the industry, but on the other hand, we have the gray or brown hydrogen, which sometimes does more harm than good. So where do we stand with this bio-oil technology?
Well, the process that we use is, first of all, complying with all the European Union environmental restrictions. We can say we are very efficient, we are environmentally friendly, and we are obviously also financially sustainable. And when we look at our approach, we are always placing the well-being of the environment into the first place. That is our priority. We are here to clean the environment and not to damage the environment by any ways. We are currently operating in Thailand now already for more than 4 years. We have launched our production operations in Finland earlier this year, 2024. And as said, we comply 100% with all the European Union environmental regulations. On top of that, we continue to develop our technology to become even more better, more sustainable, more efficient than what it is already today. So to answer your question, the environment is the priority number one.
And talking about the European regulation, the law goes in your favor, as in Europe we have the anti-waste law, which will keep on being reinforced till 2027. And we also have the ESG criteria, which will also be reinforced and which will soon imply every company to comply with those criteria. So every company, whatever the size. But so one question would be, is the market actually ready to help those companies to comply with those criteria?
Well, the situation that we see today is that the annual production of new plastic keeps on increasing. Last year alone, the global production of new plastic was almost 500 million tons. This 500 million tons is more in weight than the combined weight of every single human being on the planet. So just to put things into perspective, this is how much plastic we generate globally per year. Unfortunately, today, it's only about 5 to 10% of plastics that ever get recycled, which means that more than 90% of all of these plastics that are being produced will eventually end up into the landfills, into the oceans, or getting burned, for example. That's why we urgently need to develop the plastic waste recycling infrastructure. Today, the production of plastic is increasing by approximately 10 times more faster than the building of the infrastructure for recycling. That means that there needs to be much more investments and efforts to be placed into this area. Eventually, I do believe that every single kilo of plastic that is being produced will at the same time have to be offset from the environment. Similarly to what has been already been addressed with the carbon emissions, we have to get to a point in time where all these plastics that we are using will be circular, and at the same time, when a kilo of plastic leaves from a manufacturing plant, at the same time, whoever is the producer of that plastic will be responsible of removing an equal amount of plastic from somewhere in the environment. This is where I believe we will eventually end, and hopefully this will happen sooner than later. But I personally do believe that it will be a time frame of approximately 25 to 30 years until we will reach a state where plastics will be recycled in a very similar way how we are today recycling paper and glass and metal.
And as said, waste management is quite a new field. So for the moment, there is still a lack of control and a lack of data about all the trade happening around waste management. And we saw the case in Ghana, for example. So it is not relative to plastic waste, but to dangerous waste. But there is a lot of illicit trade happening around dangerous waste management, because there is a lack of control and because there is a lack of data about this trade. So, of course, the UN is trying to be active about this, trying to collect all the data about this new sector. But we also see maybe a private initiative, so like yours, because I saw that you developed your very own blockchain technology. So I don't know if it was in that views, but it seems perfectly relevant to tackle this issue about the market. So could you tell us about this blockchain technology that you have developed?
Absolutely. I think, and you said it very well, that the collection of data and tracking the work that is actually done is a major challenge. And we wanted to address this one by using, in our opinion, the best available most transparent and publicly accountable database. And for that purpose, the Ethereum blockchain was a perfect platform for us to use. So what we've done is we have built our own operational model on the Ethereum blockchain, where we are able to track every kilo of plastic waste that is being recycled by Corsair or one of our contributing partners. And by doing so, we will be able to publicly display the work that is being made. As a result of that, every kilo of plastic that we recover from the environment, which then goes into recycling, is now documented on the blockchain. And as a result of that, a equivalent amount of plastic credits can also be issued. So this is where we use the blockchain purely as a public database to document and also then to publish this information.
And as a last questions, because there are a lot of things that we could talk about, but one last question would be regarding the business model, because one of the issues for the moment of actors in the field of waste management is their business model. They fail to survive on the market. So what about yours? For example, what are your revenue streams? And actually, if I ask that question, it's because I saw that you, even though Corsair is quite new, so you launched it in 2020, you are already able to finance new projects. So it is in that view that I asked that question, and maybe you could talk about this project that you just financed, which is actually a platform to gather all the actors of the sector.
Absolutely. So obviously in the core of all of our operations is the sale of the advanced bio-oil, also called the pyrolysis oil. And we're extremely grateful for our clients. We are today producing some of the most highest quality pyrolysis oil on the market. We work together already with a number of the largest petrochemical companies in the world. And this is obviously what we are looking to expand now all over the world by developing more and more recycling centers in all corners of the world where plastic waste is a problem. Now, additionally to that, we also do offer a plastic waste removal service. And we're extremely grateful to have today tens of thousands of clients around the world who are extremely environmentally conscious. This is both corporations, organizations, and private individuals who are working together with us by helping us on this expansion that we're doing. And what these companies are providing is they are providing additional support for our expansion, and then as a result of that, they will receive the plastic credit to help them to reduce or completely offset their plastic waste footprint. This is something that is today still done very much voluntarily, but as we know, with new regulations coming into effect as soon as 2025, it will now become also legally mandatory for companies, as you said, to start taking responsibility of their plastic waste footprint. That is where our platform and especially the CSR plastic credit can help these companies to offset those plastic waste footprints. Additionally to that, in some locations where plastic waste truly is a overwhelming problem, we also do receive a so-called gate fees by receiving the plastic waste raw material. This allows us then to continue again our investments and to support other recyclers as well, who then can expand their operations and ultimately remove more and more plastic waste from the environment. So everything that we do is about cleaning our planet, and we are using all the available technologies both on the chemical recycling and chemical engineering sector, as well as in the sectors of IT, to bring those resources so that we can help more and more companies around the world to receive these financial supports to expand their recycling operations.
Okay, thank you very much, Jussi, for introducing us to Corsair, as well as to explaining a bit the market of plastic waste management.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you very much for following us in this program. See you soon.